Get your game face on. Get your game face on.
All right, g'day and welcome to the Southern Football Netball League GameFace Division 2 footy show. It's great to be here at GameFace HQ in Studio 1 doing it live. I'm joined on the panel as always by Tomo and Will, but today we're joined by a guest. He's the standing captain, Jacob Flannery from the Heatherton Football Club. We're going to get to those guys in just a minute, but before we do that, some top stories for you. Tunners push the Hammers. Sky, 2 in a row. It's been a while, Will, I would have thought, since Sky's been able to say that. Bina beat the Eagles to solidify third spot. We're going to crack into all of those in just a minute, but first let's go to Will for a GameFace app update.
MelSafe is a leading provider of certification, audit and compliance services, specialising in safety, quality, environmental and chain of custody standards.
G'day guys, time for another GameFace app update proudly brought to you by MelSafe. MelSafe are the experts in auditing and compliance services, so contact them now to review your safety processes to ensure your employees are working in a safe environment and achieve all legislative obligations. Division 2 this week saw Murrumbina steamroll Dobson Eagles at Power Road to give itself some breathing space inside the top 3. A 7-goal opening quarter got the ball rolling for the Bina, with Nick Brazel finishing the day with 6 snags. Meanwhile, Sky lifted itself off the bottom of the ladder, courtesy of a victory over Caulfield down at the Hangar. In other games, in Hammer, Michael Ashman booted 6 to sink the Tunners. Matty Wettering slotted 7 in Springy District's win over the Vampires, and the Hiders were no match for the Borough. In the Magoos and Doveton pipped Bina in a thriller by just 2 points, while Heatherton were too good for Hampton. Keysborough, Springy and Sky were the other winners. Now the big change in the ladder this week was Sky jumping up to 8th position on the ladder, 4 points clear of Heatherton and 2 ahead of Chelsea Heights. While the 4-point buffer between Murrumbina and Doveton could decide who gets a double chance come September. Incidentally, the Eagles leapt above Bina in the 2s, up into 2nd spot, and now have their sights on top spot, currently held by the districts. Now remember guys, there's plenty more to see on the GameFace Record app, including all the live scores, the footy shows, goal kicking leaderboards, and the weekly top 10 player rankings. And all divisions of footy and netball are covered, so make sure you download the GameFace Record app for free from the App Store or Google Play. Get your GameFace on.
Thank you, Will. Magnificent job as always. Our special guest, as I mentioned off the top, and that's always brought to you by Petter's Suspension, is the man Jacob Flannery. He is the standing captain from Heatherton. Good on you, Jacob. Thanks for joining us on the panel, mate.
Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Always good to have special guests in studio one where it all goes down, Tomo. The Heatherton Football Club, mate. Let's talk about it, Jake. Where we at? How's things been going this year? How's the feeling down there?
Yeah, so the feeling's positive. We haven't been too successful in many wins. We've had 2 against Chelsea Heights. So we've got another chance coming up against East Brighton in the last round. So hopefully get the win there and try and stay up in the division.
Let's talk about you for a second before I let these boys crack in with their questions. What do you do for a day job? First, pump yourself up there. Maybe it's your own business or whatever. Get it out there. And secondly, you're the standing captain. How long have you been down that football club now there, mate? And what's the leadership around the joint like? Are you building something there for the future?
Yeah, so first question was I work at Canterbury Roof Tiles. It's a family business. So I'm an estimator down there. And with the second question, came to the club this season, played at Bomb Beach prior. And so the captain is away in Japan as we speak, so he's going to come back, but he's out for the rest of the season. So I've just filled in his shoes for the last few games, and the leadership's, it is building. It is a very young side, and we are hoping that in the next few years we can build onto it.
How are you finding the tag of captaincy? I mean, as you said, it's only your first season at the club. How are you finding that extra responsibility?
Yeah, it was quite interesting on the weekend. I was unable to say any words in the pre-game speech and the halftime speech, so lucky one of the boys took over and did that for me. But besides that, on the ground, I try and direct traffic and try and more show my leadership through my skills and getting the ball. And,
leading by example, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
So come across from Bomb Beach. What got you from Bomb Beach across the road to Heatherton?
So just a few mates from school. Got a few down there, and they just said come down for a kick, and I took it.
Yeah. So you played under Steve Hughes.
Hughes.
Yeah, he's a past premiership coach at Springvale Districts. You've got to be a pretty good coach to be a premiership coach at Springvale Districts too. So how'd you find him? Hughesy and Gav Asalo playing down there as well?
Yeah, they were great blokes. Got along with Hughesy really well.
Yeah.
And learnt so much from him. He was yeah, probably very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like to thank him for giving me
Yeah.
all that footy knowledge.
He's a ripper. Yeah, it was the same with me. So, what about Gav Vassallo? Still going all right for a 38-year-old?
Yeah, he actually won the best and fairest last year.
Yeah, not bad.
So yeah, he had a great speech. I won't repeat it, but yeah, it was one of the better years I've seen an old bloke win it.
Yeah. I'll let him know you said that too.
Yeah.
He's a good mate of mine, Gav. So yeah, ripper, gun footballer.
Oh yeah,
One of the better local footballers to ever play, really.
Yep.
I'd say, outside of VFL and all that, obviously. But yeah.
And obviously evergreen as well. I mean, you've got to be pretty good to be playing competitive footy still at in your late 30s. So, no, he's an absolute start. Now, TAC towards 0 round obviously last week, and you had the responsibility of wearing the number 0 jumper, which a lot of the footy captains, about 1,000 footy captains across the state, got to wear that jumper. It was a fantastic initiative, and the TAC and the Southern Footy and Netball League got to be commended for that initiative. But from a captaincy point of view, how did it feel to pull on that number 0 jumper, and obviously a big important day and an event, and very important message? And how did it feel from your point of view?
Yeah, I was quite honoured and humble, and when they asked me to wear it, I took it and yeah, tried to do the club proud.
Did it fit?
No, it was quite large. Yeah.
They order it for Stork, did they? Or?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Big ruckman.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that game, because as we said, Heatherton, you served it up to the Hammers. Talk about each quarter, part of what happened in the game, mate, for those that didn't get to see it.
Yeah, so they jumped us in the first quarter. Like many games this year, we've had the jump on us in the first quarter, and we had to fight our way back. That was pretty much the first half, and then the third quarter we, I think, kicked 6 or 7 unanswered goals and got within a kick, and then just ran out of steam in the last quarter.
So what is it, mate? Because you said in there at the start, you got a young club, you're building towards something. Is that what you're putting it down to at the moment? It hasn't been a great year, obviously. You'd like to be up the other end of the ladder, but you've got a young club, you're building towards over the next few years, keeping those guys together. Is that what's going on down there?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so we actually come up from Division 3 last year. So they pretty much had us as 0 wins. So to get 2, I think, is not a bad effort.
Yeah.
And we actually finished 5th last year.
Will had you at 0 wins, as we spoke about last week. I didn't. I definitely didn't. I knew you guys would go all right. But Wilbur was the one who had you on 0 wins.
Look, I'm happy to put my hand up and admit when I get things wrong. And I fully commend the Heatherton Footy Club for making the decision to come up from Division 3. Obviously, it takes a fair bit of courage to do that especially when you're finishing mid-table outside of finals in 3rd Division, to come up and try to be competitive. And look, full credit to you guys, and you're obviously going about it the right way, because the way to rebuild a club is to get those steps up into the high divisions. And look, you've done really well so far this season, and I really hope that that improvement continues.
It's a courageous decision, but
100%.
It also sends a strong message about your club and the direction you want to head in. So. Good on Heatherton for doing it, and potential recruits and stuff like that. Yeah, we want to play at the highest level possible. We're not just going to sit back in the division trying to win a flag that we probably should. So, a great step forward for the club.
100%. And just going back to the game for a minute. I mean, a lot of having a look at Heatherton throughout the season. Obviously, scoring's been a little bit of an issue, and finding going through large patches of games without. Kicking scores going goalless for, a half or 3 quarters or what have you. Bit of a bugbear of Shane Sheedy's, but to go out and kick 6 or 7 goals in the third quarter, that must have been pretty pleasing from not only your point of view, but certainly Sheeds would have been pretty happy with that, I would have thought.
Yes, he really was. He kind of questioned why it just doesn't happen a bit more often, but I guess it was just the heat of the moment. We come in after half-time and had a bit of a rev up, and we did that.
And especially against a side that's about to play finals footy as well, and we'll touch on that in just a second. So the fact that you really served it up to them, and as you said, got within a kick, it shows that your best is probably good enough, and you deserve to be at this level.
Yeah, exactly right. Again, it's just about working together as a team and putting it together every minute.
I have a question for all of you guys in a minute. Let's crack on with this. I'm gonna throw that at you in this next segment. Sky obviously. Were the talks to be that one of those teams that's possibly going to get relegated, but they've surprised. They've got 2 wins, and it's probably been a while since their time. I'm not really sure how long it's been since they've been able to say we've got 2 wins in a row. They've jumped up, lifted themselves off the bottom. They'd be pretty happy down there.
Yeah, I don't know whether that happened last year. Certainly hasn't happened this year.
Yep.
But we picked it. We said that they could go close. We both didn't have the balls to pick them.
Yep.
But we did say that they were going to give them a red hot crack, and they did, and they got a great great win. That's a character building win for the club, and as we said, a lot of proud footballers down there, and they stood up when they had to for their club, and they've kept them out of a relegation battle now, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's look, to be honest, I went down to the Bears golf day on the Sunday, so I really couldn't go down there without getting my ear chewed off by all the blokes that were down there at the golf day. But full credit to the Bombers. I mean, I said last week that Caulfield's got a pretty ordinary record down there at Sky. It's a tough place to play footy, as you'd be well aware. You guys nearly got rolled there as well. So they've got some potential, this Sky side, but
they've got a decent reserve side as well. Sky.
Yeah, they're mid-table. Their two sides always been up there around about finals, and I think in previous years they had a culture where a lot of these gun footballs were quite happy to sit back and play twos footy and win flags. But obviously with the last two coaches coming in and trying to do a reasonable job of changing that culture to make people strive to play senior footy, and that's the aim. And look, the twos have probably dropped off a little bit, but I think the senior side will see some long-term benefits from it.
So, as you would well know, Tomo, what's interesting about divisional football is if you win a premiership, you go up to the next division. If you're on the bottom, you drop back a division, which you don't want to do, let's be honest. So it makes this last round for those three bottom teams very, very interesting indeed. So Heatherton's thrown right in there. East Brighton in the last round, huge.
It's a massive opportunity for Heatherton. So looking at it the way they go, Chelsea Heights the other side in the relegation battle, and they've got a really tough run, as we spoke about last week. Probably not going to win any of those last three games with being the top three sides. But Heatherton, if they can roll East Brighton, owing to the draw, they will leapfrog Chelsea Heights. And Chelsea Heights will go from Division 1 to Division 3 in the space of 2 seasons, which we certainly wouldn't.
Has that ever been done before?
Clayton did it the previous year, but they're a side that's really sort of bounced back this year in Division 3, but that's a separate discussion.
So the question within this segment I wanted to ask you two blokes on the end there, because you're coaching a club that's done quite well over the last couple of years. So you've been somewhere and you've obviously lifted, so you've recruited quite well. And Jacob, you'd be doing that from this moment on. You get to the end of the year, it's like we're going to do. We need to get good players to this club. How do you do that, Tomo? Jacob, how do you do that? Do you go out there? Do you pound the pavement, or is it up to the players to go out there and talk to their mates that they know good footballers, come down to this football club, this is a good footy club?
Yeah, I think you need to assess where you're at honestly, and where your culture's at, and what's accepted at your club and what's not, and why is the reason that you're trending backwards. Identify that, and then put a few things in place to get it going the other way. And success, breeds success, and people want to come to your club. And if you've got a strong culture, I think that's the key. And then it all goes from there, and you obviously attract better players and better people to your club.
So Jacob, is that a player-driven thing, or is that an administration, coaching, committee-driven thing, or is it a whole club-driven thing in your eyes?
Yeah, I think it's a whole club in my eyes. Exactly what was just said. But with Heatherton this year, we've had I think 17 new players playing together, and nearly every single one was mates of mates.
Yep.
So it wasn't really scouting or anything. It was just mates and mates want to be part of a good club, good culture, and playing footy together.
It's really important. I mean, we talk about culture and how do you find the right culture. Good people obviously do that. But there was a thing, I coached down in the Geelong Football League a few years back now, and I was at St Joey's, and they decided to go with the young kids for a long time, which is what Heatherton's doing at the moment. You're going to concentrate on these young people and really develop them and grow them, because we can see potential in this. End up winning, I think, 3 premierships 3 or 4 years later. So you go through the hard times. You probably take a backward step to go 2 steps forward. So that's probably where Heatherton are right at the moment, and it sounds like they're on the right track. So if you're in the area and you want to play some football and you're a decent footballer, this bloke here will be very, very happy to have you.
The most exciting thing about all of that too, and I might throw that question to you as well, as a club, it must be exciting for everyone involved, and certainly you as the sort of stand-in skipper and part of the leadership group, to be building something from the ground up. You've come from humble beginnings, obviously, in Division 3 last year, to really build towards some success in Division 2. Must be exciting to be a part of all of that.
Yeah, it really is. It's just something I've gone into clubs where it's already been built up, and it's pretty much in the premiership window where I've come here, and it's starting to build up to that. So it is a great, task for us to try and achieve in the next year or two, build up to make finals, and then maybe a year or two later on, maybe win a flag.
Yep.
All right, we'll move on, because it was the Beaner boys beating the Eagles. My fellas, I was there. I watched the first half before I had to go and watch my Demons get smashed. Not smashed, really. The Tigers did a job on the Ds on the MCG. But 7-goal opening term for the Beaner. They came to play. They were absolutely fantastic. And Nick Brazel, 6 goals for the day. I think he kicked 3 or 4 in 2 or 3 in the first quarter. He was on fire from the start. So a really good game by Murrumbina. They really do trouble the Dovies, don't they, Will?
They certainly do. They're a very, very good side, Murrumbina. Let's make no mistake about that. And this was a great contest from start to finish. And you know, looking at the ladder now, there's obviously some massive ramifications now for you guys. Beaner are now 4 points clear in third position. The way we see it, it's almost a lock. The top 3 sides. I don't see you guys, unfortunately, making the double chance now, which is a bit disappointing from your point of view.
Disappointing, but I have to say, Tomo, and you've played against Murrumbina, and you know they're a good mob down there. They play obviously well at home, but they came to play on the weekend, which I really like seeing from them. As much as I hated seeing my boys get beat, but they moved the ball so well, and I wasn't expecting it. They looked like they were just on. They were all about the football. They got it down to their forwards. They were without Lukey James as well, which is. It's a fantastic result for them to get a win away, especially at Dobson, because they're another team that's really threatening.
Yeah, they are. They're a really good side. They're physical, got some bigger bodies. I think the smaller ground at their ground suits them. I thought they might be able, Dobson might be able to open them up on that big ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, they played really well and didn't enable them to fire a shot.
Yes, all right, so let's move on now, because the final contenders, it looks like, and we're obviously not going to surprise anyone. I'm going to ask you guys a little your barometers, your X factors, and who needs to lift at these clubs, okay? So the final contenders, we know Springvale are going to be there, we know Keysy are going to be there, we know Dovey are going to probably be there for a single chance. They've got to win all the way through. Who else is going to be there? Help me out.
Well, the top 5 are locked in, so you can throw Keysborough, Hampton, Dobson Eagles into that mix, and of course Murrumbina as well, as we just spoke about. And they've all got some really good players in those sides, and you know, it's probably some guys that really need to lift as well. That if they want to really compete for that cup, because it isn't one with your top 6 players. It's your bottom 6 that win your grand finals, as you know. So every club's got their stars, but it'll be interesting to see how the next half a dozen weeks pan out.
All right, boys, I'm going to ask you now. Let's go first with the boys down at Springvale. The barometer for the Springvale districts. Tommy, you'd know well because you're there. Well, is it you?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not me. It's definitely not me.
Hall of Famer.
It's definitely not me, but the
they throw
barometer,
pretty,
the clear
they
barometer.
pretty loosely, Hall of Famers down there.
Oh yeah, they hand out Tic Tacs.
Moving on.
It's not about me, boys. The barometer at Springvale districts, on and off field, and everything in between is the donk. We all know that. When he's up and firing, as you've witnessed firsthand off the field as well, everyone else is up and about around him. So he's definitely the barometer.
We had him on the panel too, didn't we? He came in. He was pretty ordinary.
He was ordinary
on the panel, and he wanted to host it.
It was ordinary because we filmed this on a Monday. And he has a big weekend, and he doesn't talk till Wednesday. So we get him on a Sunday morning or something to be interesting.
He'd be all right.
So he's our barometer. The X factor is a young kid, first-year player. The Cat, we call him.
The Cat?
Him and his old man are massive fans of this show as well too. So I actually asked if we could give him a shout-out one day, or just a meow or something throughout the show. But the Cat, George Katsaris, he's definitely our X factor. He brings tackling pressure. He kicks goals from everywhere. He's strong. He's good on the ground. He's good in the air. So him for sure. And who needs to lift from Springvale, without doubt, is Matt Thompson. He... I cop a lot of shit from you blokes about, or from his mates about looking after him, but ever since he had the kid, he's let himself go. He's took dad bod, and he's just blown out, and he's injured at the moment, so he's got to lift.
You can't give it to your brother, can you?
I think you can. I mean, that's what brothers are for.
No, I think if you can't, who can you?
Right.
Can't give it to your brother. Well, you got the same there?
Yeah. So we've colluded on these sort of things. So
well, then I'll get you to read out. Keysborough is the next club, mate.
By the way, you mentioned his brother's got the dad bod. He's got some kids too, and
he's doing all right.
I actually lost one.
You're stressed.
I'm fitter than when I was playing.
You're coaching. You're stressed.
It's all about the aesthetic for this man.
Yes, it is.
I'll just run around without the shirt on. Anyway, Keysborough, the barometer, without doubt, Riet Pal. I mean, we speak about this guy quite regularly. He is one of the big stars of the Division 2 competition, not just this Keysborough side. And, you know, if he can get his hands on the footy, he will carve up every single side. When he's up and about, so too the Borough. The X Factor, Timmy Werner, is there anything that this man can't do? With the footy in hand, he can he's quick as lightning. He can take some marks. He kicks goals.
Yeah.
And if he's a quiet day, so too probably does Keysborough. But when he's up and about, Keysborough
He
unbeatable.
can get up on the wing and he can really find space and break lines as well. He
Yep.
can play anywhere. Yep.
And Tommy Anderton, I mean, he's a bit of a versatile player, and I know they've got quite a few key players through this Keysborough midfield that normally get a lot of plaudits. He probably sort of goes a little bit under the radar a little bit, but if he can really sort of elevate his game, then that engine room will be impossible to stop.
Jacob, I'll ask you while you're here. Springvale and Keysy, you've played against them probably a couple of times this year.
Yep.
What have you thought of both clubs? Who do you think out of those two teams is going to go all the way? I mean,
Choose your next words carefully.
Yeah. The different styles of football, I suppose.
They're different. I think Keysborough have got a very dominant forward. So I think if Springy can shut them down, they win the game. I guess you shut down Bear, you win the game.
Yep.
Because he dominated us, and I think Springy overall have just got a better line.
Pretty
every
good
single
spread.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when we played last time we played Keysy, Bear didn't play and they beat us by 100 points. So there's that theory out the window. But anyway,
Okay, take that back.
but no, you're right. He's a star. Yeah.
Well said, well done. We'll move on to the next contenders. Murrumbina, the Barometer, the X Factor, and who needs to lift, Will?
The Barometer, we've gone with Nick Brazel. I mean, he's been in sensational form up forward. Obviously, another 6 goals on the weekend. Probably flies under the radar a little bit with LJ in the side, but when he's up and about, they're kicking. They're capable of kicking some big scores, Murrumbina, and he's a fair reason why. The X Factor, this one was an absolute no-brainer. LJ, the most dynamic player in the competition, and can win a game off his own boot within the space of a quarter. And, he's... What more can you say about LJ?
Superstar.
Needs to lift, probably leaning towards Finton Brazel. I mean, his brother's got a lot of the credit this year, and he's been in sensational form. Like to see a little bit more from Finton. Real big body, and probably hasn't had the impact his brother's had.
All right, we'll move on to the Dobson Eagles, and Tomo, you're going to talk us through them.
Yeah, I think we couldn't agree on one here. Well, they're both the same. I've gone for Nick Battle as the Barometer. I think if he has a dominant performance, which he regularly does, I think Dobson are bloody hard to stop. I think you went with MC. You could mount a case for either. Both just as important as each other for,
flip a
for
coin,
Dobson.
really.
The X Factor, I've gone with Jared O'Neill, who can pop up. He plays on the wing. He's a similar player to Werner, actually. He gets up, finds plenty of the footy. He's good in the air. He can go forward and kick goals, kick bags as well. So his only problem is staying injury without injury. So, but definitely got the X Factor. And who needs to lift from Dobson, I think, is Russell Robinson. He's too busy trying out to win a bloody Logie on this new TV show, and he should be out there kicking goals for his bloody footy club.
I'm going to cop that. I've got nothing to say, and I am going for a Logie. That's the next thing.
No, what he said before, Robbo said, I am the Barometer, I am the X Factor, and I do need a lift.
So the reason why there's any dispersions on Dobson at the moment, it's all because of me. I'm sorry, fellas. I'll get back to it soon.
And the one reason you know he needs to lift is if you have a look at his schnoz at the moment, you can't go around marking the footy with your face. Otherwise, this happens. That's what your jukes are for,
You
Robbo.
talked about getting old, mate. You start to lose your judgment. 40 years of age, and I've come a cropper on the weekend. But anyway,
To his credit though, he's now playing twos footy, so he's been promoted from the thirds.
Trying to get my fitness up. No, honestly, they wanted me to play seniors. I said no. I need to get some fitness back. I must say, I really did enjoy playing with the boys down there, and the boys at Murrumbina. They were fantastic. Had a bit of a laugh out there. Let's go to you, Jacob, real quick before we move on. And these guys give me any more crap. Murrumbina and the Dobson Eagles, their style of football, and how will it go in finals?
So I've only played against Dobson. Those two, the other two, I got knocked out and broke my wrist, so missed those two. But the Dobson Eagles, great to watch, great to play with, and I'd love to put that within our club.
Yeah,
that game style.
And you got them this weekend coming, so big game for you. How do you stop Dobson Eagles? Is it Nick Battle or is it MC? Who do you put most attention to, which probably goes towards who's the X Factor for the Tom I was just talking about? These guys can't decide.
Yeah, probably Battle.
Yep.
Yeah, he's run and carry. They feed him the ball. So, yeah, you stop him, you probably stop them.
All right, Will, we'll move on to the last final contender, Hampton, the Barometer, the X Factor, and who needs to lift?
I think the Barometer, Mark DeVroe, he's been in great form throughout the season. When he's had a down game, Hampton haven't been able to quite get over the line. I mean, I look back at the Springy Districts game, he probably quite by his lofty standards. Probably so too Lou Roberts, you could probably throw into there. Maybe the two, but we've gone with Mark DeVroe. But, when he gets forward, he's able to kick some goals and can really get the ball moving through the midfield. So he's a Barometer for mine. The X Factor, I've gone with Alex Gleeson. So in big moments, he's the sort of player that can stand up. He's played a fair bit of high-level footy in the EDFL, and he's an incredibly talented footballer.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that one. Yeah, he stands up when they really need him.
And again, if we go back to that Springy Districts game, he was the one that sharked the ball from the ruck and kicked that goal to put him in front in the last 90 seconds of the game. So he's an absolute star. Make sure you keep him quiet. And needs to lift Daniel Campusano, who came across from Dingley and previously Chelsea Heights. So come across with big raps, can play multiple positions, key positions. Probably haven't seen the benefit from him, I guess. I don't know, this is going to sound a little bit harsh. So far in his tenure at Hampton, and I know LJ got a hold of him the other week, but LJ can make any defender look silly, but I think he's probably the one that needs to lift the most there for the Hammers if they're to be successful.
Jacob, you just had a look at the Hampton boys. How are they going at the moment?
Yeah, good. They, as I said, they put us away early and pretty much maybe in that third quarter, maybe put their foot off the pedal, and then, finished us off in the last quarter.
Good on you, Jacob. What we do every week, as I'm sure you know, the boys down at the footy club would know that we put together a team of the week, and they'd be looking to see if they're in there. These boys select it. I'm going to hand it over to you now, Tomo, to start us off. The Swivs Locker Division 2 Team of the Week.
Yeah, from the backs, Turkington from Bina. He's back in for his second week in a row. Simon Clark, Doveton, and Aaron Rhodes, Chelsea Heights.
Very solid back three. Luke Scott from Sky, good on them for getting the points on the weekend. Makes the halfback flank. Matty Lello from Murrumbina has been a picture of consistency this season. And Bomber Goods from Keysborough on the other halfback flank.
Good to see my old mate Bomber getting the side this week. He's another guy who's pushing 40 and is every bit as fit as he was when he was 20.
Absolute machine.
I know he says he gets a lot sore, but he's still moving around really well. So centre line, wing, Ben Stacey. Centre line, our man, Jake Buggy. Now, you played in their golf day on Sunday.
Yep.
He probably won it, did he?
No, he didn't play. It was more for the old blokes and past players that golf day. But
if Buggy played, he would have won, I reckon. And on the wing, best on-ground performance, Caradias. I'm told he was the best player on the ground for Sky.
Half forward, Peter Larson from East Brighton, the veteran, the coach, continuing to play some good footy. Good to see him back out there and contributing.
He played well. He played well, the old
wonderful character too. Yep. Is Aussie. Michael Ashman from Hampton booted 6 on the weekend, so gets the spot there. And Nick Battle, as we spoke about earlier, just a fantastic footballer.
He is. And I noticed they haven't been putting him in the best. I don't know if they're playing any funny buggers there, but I watch all the vision, and he was clearly in the best there, Nick Battle. Yep. So we've put him in. Ruck. Sorry, where are we? The forwards. Mark Stevens from Heatherton kicked 4.
Yeah.
Another 4 after his 6 last week. Scooty Wettering with 7. He kicked 7 goals, 7. And Nick Brazel, we spoke about him earlier.
I think goal kicking practice for you, Scooty, this week. Talk us through Mark Stevens just quickly, mate. He's been in some fantastic form. A few blokes up forward. Even in losing games, he's still getting amongst the goals.
Yeah, so he prefers to play back line. And all year we tried him forward and he'd resist and just wouldn't want to go back down there at the forward line, which is quite strange because everyone wants to kick goals. And he just started, I think halfway, he just started kicking a few goals and now he's getting his hands on it and he just doesn't drop it.
And he's, I take it, he's now starting to enjoy his footy forward to centre.
Oh yeah, he's very happy with himself.
Oh, of course.
What's wrong with him, Robbo? Surely everyone loves kicking snags.
That's what forwards are. You know the forwards. They love themselves and they love goals.
Could not agree more. And the rucks, Michael Kelly from Sky, Rhett Pell from Keysborough, the Barometer for that side, and Mladen Josic from Springy Districts.
Interchange, stiff to be on the interchange. Brycey Sutton was best on again. Guy Timms, we've gone with 3 ruckmen, but one of them could play forward. Georgie Angelopoulos and Wade King from Murrumbina.
Well, that's a really good side, as it is every single week. We'll move on now to the next round, the fixture, brought to you by MelSafe, and we'll get a tip from all of you on the panel. Springvale District's first up. They'll be taking on Chelsea Heights at home. We'll go to you, Tomo, and make our way along.
I'm going to pick Springy.
Of course.
Yeah,
What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, Springvale.
Spring will win this very, very easily.
We don't even need to talk about it. We'll move on to the Bears versus Keysborough. It's probably going to be just as easy, or is it? I don't know. Tomo, what are you seeing it?
No, it won't be. Caulfield won't be happy with what happened last week. Chris O'Keefe is a good coach. He will identify the areas that let him down. He'll tweak those during the week, I'm sure of it, and they'll come out and they'll be very competitive. But Keysy will still win out there. But I think Caulfield have a point to prove. So within maybe 5 goals.
Yep. Jacob?
Yeah, I've got them by 6 goals.
Yep. Will?
The one thing that they really need to tidy up their ball use, it was bloody ordinary on the weekend by all accounts. And
Who's that, Caulfield or
Caulfield.
Keysborough?
Caulfield. So, that's one thing they've got to tighten up. They'll make sure that they do that. But Keysy will still win. They seem to have the wood over Caulfield as well, so Keysy for mine.
Next up, will the Dovey boys redeem themselves against Heatherton at Heatherton's home ground, Tomo?
Yeah, I think Dobson, again, they want to bounce back from last week. I think they'll win that fairly easily. Don't want to look too far ahead and looking at that East Brighton game, but you've got to get through this one first.
Yeah, I've got our boys by a point.
Yep. Nice. Well done.
You know what? I reckon Heatherton, they'll show a bit this week, I think. I think you guys will still get the chocolates, and you'll get the chocolates pretty comfortably. But Heatherton, they'll show a little bit in patches, and I think they'll show that they deserve to be in Division 2, we'll put it that way.
Tomo, will
Won't be a
Sky make it 3 in a row against Hampton?
No, Hampton will burst their bubble. As much as I love the guys in the Sky.
It's a hard place to play,
Hampton
apparently.
Hampton will win that. Yeah, no, it is. It is a hard place to play.
What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm going to go Sky 3 in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. I like it.
You know what? I'm undecided. I mean, Hampton, it's this sort of time of the year, and we've spoken about it before, about where sides, when they have nothing to play for, like, for example, Hampton, they've got nothing to play for. They're already in finals. They're not going to drop out. Could potentially rest some sore bodies. Sky, they win this game. They're all of a sudden, completely out of relegation zone. So,
The sky's the limit.
how long have you been sitting on that one for?
Moving on. Murrumbina.
Oh,
Who are you going to go? Real quick.
Hampton, just.
Just Hampton. All right, Murrumbina at home to East Brighton tomorrow.
Murrumbina
The
will win that
arena.
easily. LJ will come back from injury and he'll kick 8.
8. All right.
Yep.
I'll hold you to that. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, Murrumbina by 10 goals.
Yep.
Murrumbina by plenty. I think, unfortunately, East Brighton have run out of gas, and I'm surprised that you haven't gone this week. Murrumbina if LJ plays, East Brighton if LJ doesn't play
I
this
think
week.
they'll win that regardless, but yeah.
It's a bit harsh.
Well done, boys. That's been a great show. We've got to wrap it up now. If you haven't downloaded the GameFace app, make sure you do so. You can catch up with all the goss that's going on within this division. You can watch live stream games, which this bloke gets involved in from week to week. There's so much football on there. It is not funny. You've got it, haven't you, Tomo?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
Look at it
Absolutely.
every day.
You catch up on all the other teams on that app. You can do the same. Thanks to you, Tomo. Thank you very much, Jacob Flannery, for coming in, and good luck to you this weekend, but not too much luck against the Dobson Eagles. Well done. And to you, Will, as always, been a great show. I'll see you next week as we dissect everything that's going to happen this weekend. See you next time.
Get your game face on.